This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, and productivity, and a whole lot more. Just consider it a vitamin or a supplement for your mind, your heart, and your soul. So glad that you have joined us today. I want to talk about two words that have to go together. You can have one without the other, but they work so much better. One word begins with the letter A, another begins with the letter P. I could call them the A and P for success. When I was a child, there was a local grocery store in my hometown called A&P, the Atlantic and Pacific. It's long ago been swallowed up and gone out of business. But here are the words that I'm talking about: action and passion. You must have both. And what you really need is passion followed with a person who'll take action. Let's talk for a moment about action. You can't win if you don't begin. I remember there was a time as a young adult, I was given a challenge to do something. It really wasn't a challenge, it was an opportunity. And since that time, not a day's gone by, well, I'd say a day, but a week hardly goes by that I don't reflect on it. I was given this assignment to do, and I knew it was a big thing, an important thing, but I was so paralyzed by fear. I didn't quite know how to do it. I just kind of fumbled around, and finally the person who gave me the assignment just as quickly took it away. And the reason is I never did anything. I thought about it. I wrote a lot of notes. I got prepared. I thought about it. I did a little research, but I never took action. You can have the best plan known to humanity. You can do the most top-notch research over the internet, go to the library, but if it doesn't lead to action, I've thought a lot of good thoughts down through the years. I had a lot of good intentions, but nothing in my life has ever changed until I made up my mind to take action. You can't win if you don't begin. And so break it down into small pieces, see where you're going, lay it all out, then make up your mind that every day you're going to take a positive action that leads you that way. But you can take all kinds of action. Other people will give you assignments. Other people will want you to do their work. Other people will try to get you to do things that's valuable to them. And so you can get up every day and take all kinds of action. That's why you need this next word, the word passion. If you want to think about what it is you're here to do and what you should be doing, ask yourself, what am I passionate about? I'm one of those few people, and it'll sound like bragging, and I don't mean it, but the entirety of my adult life, I have loved the things that I've done. I've had a passion for them. And I want to tell you what passion will do. Passion will get you through the mountains because there's difficulty everywhere. There is no life without pain. There's no such thing as a pain-free life. There have been times that I've been in the valley and there have been troubles, and what I was doing and what I was passionate about wasn't fun on those particular days. And remember, nothing is fun all of the time. Do it anyway. But what will bring you through is having a passion for what you're doing, a passion for who you are, a passion more or less for who you are becoming, who God has created you to be. What are you passionate about? And maybe you'll say, I'm not passionate about my job. You're either going to have to find a passion for it or find something to do that you have a passion for. Because here's the reason that when passion and action are coupled together, you become nearly unbeatable, is because one person with passion has an advantage over 99 people who only have an interest. Most of the people that you're going to meet in life only have an interest, and many of them don't even rise to that level. It is the people who are passionate, who will work through the storm, who will work through the challenges, who will push through the difficulties, and they'll get it done because deep in their heart there is a passion that drives them, that keeps them going. Hey, this week, maybe even today, write down what you're passionate about. What are your goals, your dreams, the visions that you have? Where is it that you want to be in 5, 10 years from now? What are the changes that you want to see happen in your life? Get passionate. Find where your passion is. Come up with an action plan. You have to get committed. Now, when I was starting out as a pastor, I pastored perhaps the smallest church in the United States and perhaps the world. My first Sunday at my first church, there were 13 people there, counting my wife and I. And we stayed long enough to, God saw us through and helped us, and things happened. Then we moved back to northern Indiana, where a church had been closed and had been restarted. And there we were. And our first Sunday, there were 18 people. And nobody heard of me. I was in a little obscure town in a church that no one knew about. And I wanted to be better. I wanted to be all that God wanted me to be. But here I am in the middle of nowhere. No one's ever heard of me or my congregation. But I wanted to learn. I had heard that find people that are ahead of you in life and learn from them. So I did the most fearful thing that I had ever done to that point. I got on the phone and I called. In those days, you had to call on a landline. I called 4 pastors. Their office secretaries answered, and I told who I was. They had no idea who I was. I did not know these gentlemen. And I said, I would like to take the pastor to lunch. And I want to ask him about 5 or 10 questions because I'm trying to learn how to be the best pastor I can be. And surprise of surprises, one, I never could quite get our schedule to coordinate, but the other 3 agreed to meet with me. Now, I was making a minimal salary, just barely scraping by. But I told their secretary, I will buy their lunch if they'll give me an hour. I'll bring my legal pad and pen, and I have some questions I want to ask them of what their suggestions would be of how I can be the best pastor, how I can be a leader, and how I can do all that I'm supposed to do. And I said, I'll buy their lunch. Now, these pastors were at such significantly large churches that their salaries were hundreds of times larger than mine. And I said, I'll buy their lunch. I mean, you can't just horn in on somebody. Offer to help and let them know how valuable you believe their help is going to be. So I did. I took them to lunch, and every one of them picked up the bill. They didn't let me pay for it. But the interesting thing is, I got page after page after page of notes, and I, from this day to then, have never forgotten that these guys who had no reason to meet with me, I could add no value to their life. But when you're a leader, and when you are passionate about what you want to do, you like helping others. You love helping others. So I was committed to meeting with them. I pushed past my fears and I called them. I offered to pay. And I said, I am here purposely not to tell you my story or to tell you about my situation. I want you to teach me. And I actually had 12 questions. Well, there's some people that you'd like to learn from that you just can't get to them. And so I bought their books and I began to read them. And there are certain authors that the moment they had a new book come out, I read it from cover to cover. I highlighted it. Now I pretty much do all my reading electronically on Kindle, but in those days I highlighted. I even typed up the notes on a typewriter, and I wanted to learn and began to file away those things and found things that were transferable that I could implement in my little situation. The other thing that I would advise you to do is take time to reflect. We live in a culture that is addicted to noise. We have noise going on all the time in our cars, in our homes, even when we're not paying any attention. It is noisy. Take some time for quiet reflection. If you're a person of faith, use it as a time to read the Bible, pray, meditate, reflect. When I go to the gym every day, I listen to podcasts. I don't listen to music, don't listen to the news. I listen to podcasts. And I have an eclectic list that I go through, but I hear something that helps me, that I learn. You must seize the moments and be a lifelong learner. Get outside of yourself, talk to other people, listen to other people, and become a leader and a reader and a learner. James Tom said one of the more interesting things I've heard in recent days when he said, the most honest, self-made person is the person who says, I got to the top fighting my own laziness and ignorance. And I'm here to tell you, my two biggest enemies have not been people who didn't like me, people who didn't agree with me, anyone who didn't want to see me succeed. My two biggest enemies have been my own laziness and my own ignorance. And it is by passion and action I have defeated laziness and ignorance in my life. If you want to be better, quit blaming, quit pointing the finger at everybody else, get up off the couch, beat your own laziness and ignorance, get a plan, work the plan, get passionate about what you're doing, and take the corresponding action. And in just a little bit of time, you'll notice the difference that in and of itself will make. Go ahead, tomorrow, marry passion and action into your life, and you'll be surprised and amazed by the results. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom on leadership, goal setting, and productivity, and a whole lot more. Remember, make tomorrow a day of passion and action. Get passionate about what you've been called to do and take the corresponding action. I hope that this has been a vitamin and supplement for your mind. Wherever you download podcasts, please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom and leave a review. Thank you for your help, and until next time, we'll talk to you later. Have a great and blessed day.